Hey, Flowmies, it's time for another edition of the ITF Flowcast. This week we have a fan favorite, Mike Nichols of the Window Guys out in Oklahoma. He does a really good job out there, and he is just a character. If you know him, you love him. He's always entertaining, does a lot on Instagram and with TikTok, which we talk a little bit about in the interview. But he kind of shares his story, how he went from a single owner operator to having his sons involved, which he does now, and just the transition period that he has. Also, his philosophy on making sure that his business stays in its place, that it provides for his family, but it doesn't take over his life, which I think is a really important thing for us to learn today. And we talk a lot about water fed use, how it's really changed the way that he's done business. And at the end, he's going to talk a little bit about something that he's been working on for the last couple of years. I won't spoil the surprise. You're going to let him talk about it when you listen to the interview. But it sounds like a really cool product. I'm looking forward to being able to test it out and use it myself. So without further ado, let's get to the interview. What up, Flowmies? It's time for another ITF Flowcast. This week we have the Big Squeegee himself, Mike Nichols. How you doing, Mike?
What's going on?
Not too much, man. Not too much. Good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, this is my pleasure. I enjoy this.
Awesome. Well, good to have you. Well, we have a lot of things I wanted to talk with you about, but one of the things I think I admire most about you is you have the best Instagram posts because they're usually involve fishing or
Right?
cooking
That's
or eating.
right.
And
It,
so
that's
I think what we're promoting is you've got a nice work recreation balance that you got going on with your business. So tell me a little bit about about your philosophy of you running your business and how that works to I think you had said something like want to make sure that you run the business doesn't run you.
exactly. And it's been a lot. It's taken a lifetime to get to this season in life. And um, the wife and I have five boys, and two of them moved out, but moved to about I don't know quarter mile down the road, and so I can drive by and check on them all the time, or they come here and do laundry. but um, but it's taken a lifetime. We both have worked our tail off, for years and years, and kind of went the Dave Ramsey route.
Mhm.
So it's you get to a place in life where you can make a decent living cleaning windows, and you don't have to work day and night. I shoot for a 4 day work week,
Nice.
and Friday's fishing, or hunting. Saturday is hang out with the boys and make pancakes and do whatever. And Sunday is family day, and so that's my plan. Now
Yeah,
that doesn't always happen.
sure.
I've got two houses scheduled this Friday, um, but that's the plan. That's the goal is to I worked a office job for
Hmm.
17, I think about 17 years,
Wow.
and would leave that and go clean windows,
Hmm.
for a long time to make,
Hmm.
raising five kids, they eat a lot of groceries.
Yeah.
So, um, but now it's grown into a family business, and it's always been my desire to keep my family close.
Good.
So,
That's awesome.
and,
So how long have you been doing your window business as opposed to like where that was your sole source of income?
um, actually, while I had a salary job, or I don't know what you'd call it, suit and tie, and had to be clean shaven or
I
trimmed.
can't even imagine that.
Yeah, I, I had an employee that would run my route, and I
Okay.
would work on building a route. And so I'd pay him 50% every week, and he kept the business going. And I would take vacation days to do big commercial jobs or construction cleans and that sort of thing. And then finally, I forget how many years it's been, 10, 12 years ago, something like that. Just kind of like, hey, I can't, can I do this thing full time, full time? I mean, it was pretty much full time, but I was working two full time jobs, and um, just kind of stepped out in faith and said, hey, let's see if we can do this. And within, remember just stepping out, like, hey, let's try this to do just window cleaning. And within 7 days, I had 21 new accounts that just came to
Wow.
me. That was more than enough to keep me busy, And then, of course, it just
Word
compiles
of mouth.
after that. So,
Yeah, yeah. So you'd say probably about like 10 to 12 years then you've been where it
right.
was your sole source. Okay. And so your customer base now that you have, so are you at your point in your business where you're maintaining customers, or are you still looking to get new customers?
Got 2 new commercial jobs Friday. I got a new house. Driving home today, it doesn't stop. And I can't even look at that. I got a new one to look at tomorrow. Another one I need to call in the morning. It's that, and it's that way every day.
Yeah.
Mostly word of mouth, Facebook, Google, that kind of thing. The
Awesome.
boys they do the route work, and they hand out cards day and night.
Hey.
Hey, call my dad. He does the houses.
Well, let me ask you this. When did you start incorporating your kids into working with you?
My oldest is always old's NASA, 20, 19. He's going to be 20.
Okay.
I have to ask, how old are you, kid? I just started calling them the wrong names just a couple days ago. I'm like, hey, I know which one you are. Anyway, I just started doing that this week. But they've always just hung out with Dad and clean windows, and then Zane, he started I don't know, a couple of years ago, just kind of here and there, a day here and there. We did, or I did for the most part. I loved I guess what you call route work, but a good, huge percentage of everything we did was franchise restaurants, and
Okay.
that was, and we have full month of nothing but banks and restaurants.
Wow.
I mean, and that's year round.
Yeah.
And built that was comfortable. It was very comfortable and just monotonous. No
thinking, you can do it in your sleep.
Yeah. No scheduling and rescheduling houses because of the rain and that sort of thing. And so the boys, one of them would just hang out. We have to do a few jobs on a Saturday or something, and they would come with me. And of course, store managers, oh my goodness, we do, I don't know how many Subway stores. They would, here's a bunch of cookies, take these to your boys. Free sodas, free cookies, free fried chicken. We'd eat KFC's, we'd eat free fried chicken all the time.
That is one of the unspoken benefits of having commercial, because we had all the Chipotles in Tucson for probably like 13 years, and there were some lean times in there, and I'd show up and just kind of hang around a little longer after we're done chatting with the people, and hey, you want free lunch? Oh, if you don't mind, yeah, no, go ahead, I'm gonna get you a burrito.
I know exactly. Yes, you try to get that done about 11 o'clock.
Yes, right about 10:45 or so, 10:50, and you're just kind of hanging around chatting and being friendly with the with the manager there. Get that ask. That's awesome. And so you got that route work. You got it kind of set. Were you doing a lot of residential at the time, or was it just that was it? Like, did you have plans on expanding, or
at the time I would do residential would just kind of be on a waiting list. I had certain customers I did for years. I have one guy that I've done his house for 20. He was my first residential customer, and it's been probably 25 years. I still do his house, and he's almost like a family friend. Get Christmas cards, and I take him smoked bologna. Every once in a while, I drop it off. But I'd have a waiting list, and like, hey, this is your number 8, and I'll call you a week ahead of time, and find a day the previous week, and it worked for a long time. But what happened with residential is a lot of us older window cleaner guys in the area, we help each other out. We
Sure.
work together. And I have I have some really good friends that are window cleaners here, and one really good friend, we talk every other day or whatever, but he moved out of state and he built all residential, quarterly residential. And
Nice.
it was back in July. He's moving to Missouri, and he's like, "You need to buy me out." I'm like, "No, I don't want. I'm comfortable. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm, I'm at my, 4 days a week. Everything's good." Or trying to get nothing but 4 days a week, but
Yeah,
that
yeah.
how that happens. But he's like, "Well, buy me out." I'm like, "No, go call this person or this person and see." But at the time, uh, my oldest was doing an internship,
Hmm.
middle of COVID. That kind of
Went down.
went to pot.
Yeah.
Second oldest, he was getting ready to start University of Arkansas. He was going to be where are you going to be? Sports journalist.
Oh,
Yeah, he's going to be
nice.
yeah. Well, and of course,
There's not too
there's
many
no
sports going
sports.
on.
There's no sports going on. So uh, talk to the boys, talk to the boys and say, "Hey, we have an opportunity. We can double the business, and you guys can run route." And they know how to do it. At that time, they know the route. They've been part time here and there working it. And if not, that's no problem. "Oh yeah, let's do it." Now hold on, take a couple days. Do you want to be a window cleaner?
Hmm.
If you want to be a window cleaner, we have an opportunity. If not, that's fine. So they wanted to do it, and so we got them on a salary, direct deposit, all that good stuff, payroll taxes, all that stupidness,
Hmm.
and then they found them a place down the road. And they moved out, but they run got a planner. I still use a planner. I've got one for residential, one for commercial, and I got my system that I use. It's not Java or whatever those are.
Hmm.
I can look and I can see right there in my paper and right in front of my face to
Right in your
see
hand.
the list of everything. So
Yeah, yeah.
they have the route work schedule and they run it. I don't even, and they give me the invoices and cash and checks and whatever, and I
Awesome.
just keep them supplied and keep them van fueled and maintained, and they run all that. And so it works well. And so I just run the residential end, um, and I do the big commercial stuff.
Hmm.
Got a Noah. He's the third oldest, and so
Hmm.
he's out of school, so he's been working with me. He's good on a water fed pole.
Yeah, I
So
seen videos.
tomorrow we've got a bunch of office complexes, and so we'll be running two water fed poles. He'll Saturday we had to do a hospital. They're closed on the weekend, so we have to do it quarterly. And he cut my time in half.
Man, yeah, that's
So
nice.
he's
See,
so tomorrow I'm ready to go with the third son, working
yeah,
through the summer. So
I
um,
love stories like that because that's totally my dream. I have a daughter, she's 12 right now. But I told her, look, you can be whatever you want to be, but you're gonna learn how to clean windows. You're gonna work with me a little bit. I'm gonna give you some jobs. You're gonna learn how to run a route. You're gonna learn how to be responsible. Boy, I would love if she took over the job, the company. That's just like my dream. Keep it in the family and not have to worry about that. And just, but like I said, whatever she decides to do, but I would be so happy if that happened. That would be so cool.
my wife went to college and she's very educated, and she does extremely well. But we do well just cleaning windows,
Yeah,
and don't have to pay for that tuition.
yeah, nice,
So, and
nice.
I hate school. I pay a bookkeeper. I don't even do my
Oh, I don't
paperwork.
either. No, I
I
don't.
can't
I don't
stand it.
mess with that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
No, I learned early on, although I did my books for a long time, but of course I was single owner operator. I really didn't have, it wasn't super complicated for me. But as I got busier, and especially once I got payroll, I was just like, forget it, man. Nope,
I don't even,
I'm not even
I don't know
messing
how
with
to do
that
my
stuff.
sales tax because we have
Uh-huh.
to pay sales tax for the state of Arkansas.
Gotcha.
Oklahoma, no, but Arkansas, you do. And I don't even know how to do any of that stuff. I
Wow.
have a lady that about every 3 or 4 months she'll give me a bill. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
She runs my bank account. She does
Yeah.
everything. She'll send me a message like,
Hmm.
hey, this, we had to pay this and this. And I'm like, okay, I trust her, which is great. So um, she kind of whooped me in shape when she took over, like got me in the system. I was kind of wild, but we've got a good system.
Now you did you were mentioning too that when your wife was going to school, you were supporting that, right? So how did that work
Yes.
out?
Well, she worked full. We both worked full time, and then at night she did John Brown
Okay.
University. Did 2 master's degrees,
Wow, that's
two right
impressive.
under 2.5 years, and she's a L, LPC. She's a licensed practical. Anyway, she's smart. She's very smart. Now she's got her own private practice. She does marriage counseling.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, all day long. She's
Yeah.
booked up. She's smart. She's the smart one.
She's smart.
But
I
yeah,
think I think you guys are both very smart. I think you have both found your niche there.
I can just clean windows. I like to be outside, but it was rough. Keep. It's almost like a single parent, season.
Yeah,
She would be on the computer in the bedroom. I'm cooking,
sure.
you know, deer meat nachos and whatever. That was the boys' favorite meal is like deer meat nachos and cooking and throwing them in the bathtub, like get in the tub,
Hmm.
just almost like a summer camp or something
Hmm.
for just shifting them here and there. And she got through school. I mean, we've just got to the well, she just started private practice 6 weeks ago. So
Hmm.
it's been a long, it's been several years.
That's wonderful.
Uh,
Yeah. Very
it,
cool. It's always nice to see those long-term plans come to fruition, and then you finally get to see the benefits of all that hard work that you've done, all the sacrifices that you make.
that's why I get to spend Fridays on the boat.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
That's why I've seen those pictures pop up a lot more, huh?
Yes, I'm hoping so. Hoping
Very
so.
cool. Very cool. Well, and I, again, like we mentioned early on, I think that's what I love about your situation, and why I really wanted to interview you because um you go, I mean, we're both part of several, of these window cleaning groups on Facebook, and it just seems like everyone is like, they're showing money on there. So we made $1,000 a day, or I've got this many, I own this city or whatever, and they go on and on about all that stuff. And I mean, I guess if you want to make that the basis of success, but when you can just be happy, and like you said, be with your family, feel have a comfortable, living, as far as, not being in debt, not having, bill collectors coming after you, and you can just be with your family. I mean, yeah, that's the way to go,
Right.
and
Our anniversary, she said, "How much is a new boat?" You know, uh, yeah, we don't need to spend that money. We don't need. I'll just fix up my old boat.
See, I don't have the boat question. I get the RV question. How much would a
Oh,
new
they are
RV be? And
right. I'm not a camper. I'm just I want a hotel room that I can trash and leave a tip and thank you for cleaning up after me.
thanks for
I
washing
don't
my sheets after me.
Yeah. I don't like
Um,
Airbnbs because it's like this is somebody's house and I want to mess it up and leave, and pay, air conditioning, that's
See, my wife though is she does not want to sleep in a bed that a million other people have slept in. And that's her thing. So she's like, I would love an RV, and I know who's been in this bed. I've washed the sheets myself. I've cleaned the
right.
toilets myself. I know exactly, that's her mentality. She doesn't really care about camping either so much. But if we could bring an RV and a, in a nice little, nature setting, some canyon or the forest or something, and just park it, that's her dream. But I also know a lot of people who own RVs, and they all say RV stands for ruins vacations, and that it is
They
just
sit there
nonstop,
drowsy.
nonstop repairs on RVs.
Right.
So I'm not looking forward to that at
We
all.
are we are cruisers. We finally we've been had to postpone. We normally go every January,
Hmm.
but of course it was postponed last January. But we're going, and we have some couple friends, and we go every. We're going October 31st for 7 days,
Mhm.
and I'm excited. And see, now I got the boys to run everything, and
Yeah, yeah.
but that's my favorite. Um, my favorite time is getting a week and going on the cruise. Same thing.
Mhm.
I'm gonna just mess up my, I come back and my room's clean, and I want to mess it up again, and they're gonna clean it again, and that's what I'm paying for.
There you
And
go. There you
come
go.
home ready to go back to slinging the squeegee.
There you go. Now so just kind of from the sounds of it, I'm assuming that most of your work is like referral, right? You get referrals from people. You don't really do a lot of major advertising to get employees. But one thing you do really well is your social media. You do a really nice job of, because see, I'll tell you my philosophy for my social media, well, especially in particular Instagram. Facebook, I use that more as a more what do you call it, traditional style, run ads on it, here's my phone number, here's a video of me cleaning, and my Facebook page is very much more your standard, what you would think of as, this is my business page.
Business, correct.
But my Instagram, I view that as a channel of my personality and the business's
Right.
personality, and an opportunity for the potential customers to get to know who we are, and to kind of feel like when we show up for the first time, it feels like we've been friends for a while. And I think you do an awesome job of that. So what is this, something that's just because that's who you are, or did you kind of have like a plan of using your
No,
Instagram to promote it?
I don't plan anything. I'm let's get in here and get it done, and we'll figure it out as we go.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of how I am. Um, Facebook is like business. Business and personal are separate.
Mhm.
My like personal Facebook, I'll never put anything controversial or political.
Yeah.
I try, but Facebook is business because I get messages,
Mhm.
for um, from Facebook for business. But Instagram, I think my tagline or whatever, I clean windows, but I also do hillbilly stuff.
Yeah.
That's my. It's just, to me, it seems like Instagram is all window cleaners looking at each
Yes,
other's
that's
window cleaning. It's just I don't see. It might be me, but I don't see customers going to my Instagram page. It's just window cleaners and friends.
yeah.
So that's kind of private and fun.
Yeah.
But Facebook this is the serious business, and I'll post jobs and stuff on there to say, hey, I really do
Right.
clean windows. I
Right, right.
don't, I worked all day yesterday. I did a pretty good job yesterday, but I don't just hunt and fish and go on cruises every week. I actually do work. So that's what Facebook is for, the work part. Instagram's the fun part.
Yeah, yeah, but I kind of feel the same way. I think like and it's nothing wrong. It's nothing bad. Because I see a lot of window cleaners, pretty much their full file are them cleaning windows, and they'll
Right.
show you the job, boom, and that's almost like every single post is them cleaning windows. And my attitude has always been, well, I own a window cleaning business. I've been doing it 20 years. I
Yeah.
hope they know that I can clean windows. And so we'll include picture, videos, especially if they're kind of fun, and we'll add some music and stuff like that. But it's like I want to stand out. I want to be different, and like I said, they should know that we already know how to clean windows if
Right.
we're have a business that's been in business for 20 years. Hopefully they know that we know how to do it. But what you do really well too is I love your TikToks. And I wouldn't think that you would be into. Now, is that you or is that your sons got you into
They
TikTok?
they turned me on to TikTok, and I'm slowly. They've had some really TikTok success, I guess, if there's such a thing.
Yeah.
I guess there's like and some other social media groups picked up just me on a screen washer, on Aztec screen washer, and
I've
that
seen
thing,
that one.
yeah. Anyway, it's on YouTube now,
Mhm.
and from other companies looking at like things you didn't know existed or something
Right.
with screen
Right.
washer, and it was probably 38 degrees. I'm got a rain jacket and lots of clothes and overalls out there, freezing cold, cleaning screens at a big ranch house and cattle farm and whatever. And anyway, they're the TikTok guys, and then now some of the other window cleaners are getting on have
Oh
been on
yeah.
TikTok, and I'm like, well, and my wife, for the longest time, doing what she does, she comes home and she's just got to spend a few minutes, and she just gets on TikTok just
Mhm.
to kind of,
Yeah. Zone out a little bit.
yeah, zone out, and now I found myself, I'd start leaning over like, what is that, and started watching TikTok videos, and now I'm not as addicted as some people in the household, but it is fun. I like I like well, I'm learning. I'm learning. I
Oh
had to have the boys show me like, now how do I make a song on here?
yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Nice.
I'm I had to have my wife set up this whole meeting because I didn't know how to do this stuff.
Well, I just think you guys do a great job with TikTok. It's one that I struggle with. I see the potential in it,
That
especially with just creating content that's kind of fun. And I've done a few, but I'm just not. It's not my forte. I think you really have to be a natural performer. Natural performers do really well on TikTok because it just comes out. It's just they
you got
just
one
do it.
minute, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just real quick. And my daughter does it. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll make a video of myself or one of the workers, and I'll just give it to her. I'll say, hey, just put some music on it, make it look cool. And boom, 15 minutes later, she's got this awesome video. I'm like, well, thanks, and I'll pop it on there. So it's definitely a young person's game. But I when it first happened, people were saying, oh, get on TikTok, get it, and I didn't see the appeal. But now I
Right.
definitely see the value of it. So that's pretty cool. But
The boys did my first. I think I've only done two of mine because I just finally figured it out. But they same thing.
yeah.
I'd send a video like, "Hey, can you make me a TikTok video?" And I want this song, and then one of them come by the house and get my phone and, all right, there. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
that's. But now I think I got it figured out. So I made one
Awesome.
Saturday, and it turned out okay, but I'm learning. I'm learning.
Yeah, yeah. Now you started out traditional, right? So you were a squeegee slinger for a long time, but now a lot of your videos that you show you're doing water fed. And would you say that's the majority of your work now is water fed?
Yeah, tomorrow will be all day. It just depends on the job. My rule of thumb is, first time residential, I do traditional, and then I try to sell them on a quarterly, and then I water fed.
Hmm.
Or if it's 796 French panes, I'm going to water fed that sucker with a
Hmm.
Vorsic brush. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um, but yeah, I started out 5-gallon bucket, 18-inch brass Unger. I think I still got one of my original Edorays that man, that thing's wore to a nub.
Oh, me too, man. I got my original one. I got my one I started,
Tell
and
me,
you can't even see the edges. I mean, you can't even put the clips in there. It's so worn down.
or yes,
But I
exactly.
keep it. I keep it just for keepsake.
Memento.
So were
Um,
you a quick adopter of it? Because it took me a long time before I did it. And it wasn't because I didn't think it worked. I couldn't see the value in it. I didn't really understand. Now, obviously if you're doing 2, 3 story buildings, I see the value, but
that's I already had those jobs. That
yeah.
was I've worked for janitorial companies. contractors. I've been around for a while. So I've had banks, we're getting ready 1st of June, we do all these operations buildings, and they're 3 and 4 stories, inside and out, plus all the bank branches, and that's half of our June. Usually it's later in the summer when it's slow, but it's just going nuts. But I already had the jobs, the government buildings, and so I'm renting lifts, doing traditional, and having to go, do the weekends when state buildings close down, doing 4 stories on a big lift all weekend long. And then the front of the building, you can't get a lift in because the wires and all this and that. So I got a 40-foot ladder, and that's like 36 times up and down that 40-foot ladder and moving it. And looking at water fed, and this was years ago. And actually, it was my friend that I bought his residential business. He studied water fed. He's the other end of the spectrum. Let's jump in here and do this. I'm going to study every aspect until I make a decision. And so
that's me. Yeah.
Figured it out as we go. But I started paying him to do the outside. Like, hey, will you do the exterior, this job for me? And I'll split it with you. That was our relationship for the longest time. And then he's like, well, you need to get you set up, and you can just get our water's like TDS is 50, 55. Some places nice. 35. Yeah. Wow. And so just get you DI tank.
You just need a little filter in your hose and you're done.
Yeah. So
you could run a white pad on the end there, and that'll be enough to bring you down.
I use a 3/4 cube DI for about 18 months, and I use it all the time.
Oh my goodness.
Until I have to start reading any numbers. But he would do all my big buildings for me, and he kept trying to talk me into getting water fed. And I'm like, okay, my lift rental is this much. Well, that I do this one twice a year. Well, that's a Unger Inlight, just for lift rental. And so I bought a couple DI tanks, and then just piece by piece, and put me a system, put a system together. Then those big buildings, I was doing like the state building with the lift was 2.5 days. Now with water fed, it's 6 hours.
Look at that.
Same job, same pay.
Amazing, right? Amazing.
Yeah. So I'm like, it was a game changer. Really game. And then even ended up with a fill and go system, and that's a whole different story. That was a car dealer bought a van, and that had been wrecked, and this 2-month-old fill and go was bolted in there.
Oh wow.
He's like, had it up for sale. Somebody told me about it. He was halfway across the state, had it up for sale, and I drove over there and looked at it, and I bought it for $900.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I was getting ready to build one, and I couldn't. It's going to cost me about $1,200 to build my own system, and I'm like, I can run. I mean, that's 2 pumps, 2 controllers, 2 hose reels, 50-gallon tank. I just fill it up with a DI system, and so started using water fed on even some route work, and that's tricky too. Like we've got some subways that it's a lot of glass and it's all cut up. Well, you can show up early in the morning and water fed it in 15 minutes, and trad the doors and then start going inside. And so it made us money.
Nice. Yeah, that's $900 for a fill and go. That's amazing. I know you're like, can I come there like right now?
Sight unseen. I said, I want it.
Yep.
Because I the hose reels and with the hose and like
the reels themselves run that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
So, I'm sorry. Just so you do a lot of government jobs. Do you have like a SAM number? Is that what you bid, or how are you getting those jobs?
the janitorial company, they this year lost the bid on those state on the government buildings, but which
Ah,
is fine because it was just
that was a lot.
after time progresses, you're like, man, I should be getting paid a whole lot more for this.
Yeah, well, that's
Well,
that's one of those things, it's got to be worth it to you. It's nice to have money coming in, but if you're pushing out more profitable business to get these done, it's kind of not worth that. That's why it came with those Chipotles. I gave them a really good price, but it was nice because I could always count on it. So even when because in Arizona we have our slow season in the summer, so our residential dries up. So when I was a single owner operator, it was nice that I could always count because the Chipotles had us do it every week. Every single week we'd go through, and we had like 13 accounts. So we drive around town do it. So I mean that's 2 or 3 days of work, and it was nice. I could always count on that. But then as I started growing, and you start comparing, well, what I'm making per hour on these compared to what I could be making per hour on a residential, over time it just got to where I was raising their prices little by little, and they were kind of bristling at it. And then eventually they said, you know what, we're just going to do it in house. And so I keep checking because we drive by every so often. I'll see, are they doing? Oh, they're still doing it themselves.
Yep,
Windows still look terrible.
yep,
But as much as it hurt because it was like I had for like 13 years. I had a ton. It is like that cushion was gone, but that actually I realized it was really an anchor, and now I had so much more room for more profitable jobs,
it,
and it ended up benefiting my business by losing those accounts.
one of the guys that I mean, everybody knows Mark Tanner, and
Mhm.
I've called him half a dozen times with you know buying this other company out, and he's like, I told him the price, and he's like, do it in a heartbeat, that kind of thing. But he's given me great advice, and you've heard him say it several times. A bad payer is always going to be a bad payer, and I started. We've got even some franchise national restaurant chains that I've got to hound them to get a check.
Yeah,
And so I'm like, just we got paid, we got caught up, and go find, a bad payer can be a bad payer, or one of those cheap storefronts, drop them and go find a better one. And so we're at um, we're at another critical mass right
yeah,
now where
yep.
if somebody's difficult to get paid from, or it's just not as beneficial as another job, well, we've got those new jobs coming, so we just kind of
Yep. But
putting.
that's being a smart business person. I don't think we as window cleaners always get that benefit of that insight. And I know I didn't when I first started. I always had the attitude of I need to keep my
About the
jobs.
job.
I need the income. I need this. And you're grabbing and grabbing, not thinking, is it worth grabbing?
You work
And
yourself to death for
yeah.
um, not as much money.
No, well, like for instance, I just gave up an account. And it was, it wasn't a big one. It was just a little one, but it was decent. I mean, it took us 15 minutes to do. I charged him $50. But the thing is that she was wanting exact dates and times of when we were going to show up. And and I at first I kind of tried to tell her, oh look, we don't do that for commercial. We really need kind of a range because things change. Because we don't make a lot of money on these. We gotta have an efficient route. Sometimes to be efficient, we've got to move things around. So we really need a range. And so we got away with it a little bit. But then she started sending me the emails. Oh, no one was here today. You guys came here Wednesday of the last, because it was twice a month. So, 2 weeks ago you were here on Wednesday. Nobody's here to that type of stuff. And at first I just kind of let it go and just said, no, we'll be here tomorrow. But it just kept coming. And then it's just like, $50 isn't worth it. So I ended up writing her an email and real friendly and because we have a good relationship. And I just explained. I say, look, I'm sure I understand you need to know when the cleaners are coming. I totally get that. You're a business owner. This is something you need to know. But my company isn't able to provide that. And here's why. And I explained residential is our primary source of income. This is the profit margin we have on this. Commercial, we don't. Now, if we have it efficient, it's worth it. But if I have to tell you when we're going to come and now I'm stuck to that schedule, now it's not going to be profitable, And I said, so, if you're willing to let me be flexible, I'd love to keep you on as a client. But if you really need this, I totally understand. But now I think it's time that you go find a cleaner who can do that, where that commercial is their main source and they're always doing it and they can, and after I explained it that way, she was like, oh, okay, I get it, because she's a business person too. But I just think that sometimes they kind of get used to everyone catering to them because
Right.
they're the business and all these vendors are trying to vie for their work, and they forget that we've got to make money too, And once I explained it that way and I put it in business terms, she understood and she was like, yeah, if you have other cleaners that you would recommend, I'd love your referral. So I sent her about 4 or 5 names of people that I know in town that would be dependable and would be looking for a commercial job like that. But again, my back in the day, if she would have done, I would have dropped everything. Oh no, I can't
Yep.
afford to lose her. I got to keep this $50 customer. And but that's part of growing and maturing as a business person, so that's good. Speaking of growing as a business person, I understand that you have been working on a new project. So, and I guess it's coming up, right? It's getting ready to be released. Could you tell us a
Should
little?
be any second. Should be any time. Um, you're talking about the water fed
Mm-hmm.
in big buildings and what have you. Um, that began to grow a few years ago. The mid, I don't know if you call them mid rise or whatever, 3 and 4 story buildings,
Right.
hotels, and of course with water fed, you can take on a lot of that. And word got around to the community that we could do that. And had these relationships. And I know there's been some other podcasts last Friday just talked about this, having relationships with other window cleaners. Well, there's a guy named Ron. He's been doing it 30 something years. His son is in his 50s. He's in it. He's, I think, 73 and still cleaning windows.
Wow.
Not as much as he used to, but anyway, they do these. I don't know if you guys know ArcBest or ABF Trucking. Their headquarters are here, and they're all around the country, but they're big computer system, whatever. They're well, Ron does all the interiors of the office, and we've had a good relationship. Um, keep in contact. I'll call and just check on, hey, you guys busy? Just keep in contact with each other, refer each other. Well, he referred me to the property manager of this building that I could do this building, and because of the referral, and he's trusted, now I'm the guy, and I've never done it. This is like 5,000 pieces of glass,
Wow.
4 story, but and we do it.
Yeah.
I just got talked to him Friday, to schedule for September, October. We got 2 big buildings we do for him. And because of that relationship, this company they had people that would repel, but they were whatever company that was. I don't know who they were, and there's not anybody in this area that does that. They'd have to come from Little Rock or somewhere to do this, and they I guess was messing things up on their brand new building. He didn't like it, and the workers inside, I guess when they'd use the suction cups and swing in, they would scare people. Whatever. I don't know the whole. That's just things I've heard.
Right.
And but he asked me if I could do the CEO's office, like this section. Come in and charge them for it. Do a section if they like it. They want a bid on the whole building. I'm looking at this building going, oh my goodness. And so did the section, they were happy, and we've been doing it ever since. But he they want water fed. They don't want lifts on the property. It's all, I mean, it's nice, manicured.
Sure.
They don't want anybody hanging off so they want water fed. So this was 2 years ago, thinking, why can't I use bronze wool or a blue pad or a white pad with the rent? Why can't I use pure water, something more aggressive for a yearly clean, something like this, metal frames, and sure enough, it's been 2 years. I've got, I don't know how much, I've got boxes of stuff where I've spent, my wife's in the other room, spent thousands of dollars. Um, um, anyway, building stuff. But a friend of mine from Springfield, Missouri, Ewing, he comes down every year. Me and him work together on this building. He's OSHA certified, all that good stuff, and he does all the tie off crazy stuff in the eyebrows and anyway, him and I have been using these pieces, these tools on these buildings, and I've been using them forever. I use them all the time, and thinking, why can't I just blast pure water and all this and that?
Yeah.
And so the way we figure is so much time per piece for boar's hair brush. Let's say, well, I know the time. We figured it was 168 hours of labor on this building using boar's hair brushes. That's your average. And so had a 16 and a 20 inch at the time, scrubbing pads,
right,
pure water. Yeah. And using a sim pole, 72-foot sim pole. So with two of us, we did it in about 88 hours.
Wow.
So we cut, is like 1 point something minutes per piece of glass, because instead of it's not as much scrub. You don't have to scrub as much.
Yeah.
And pretty much I would make about 4 passes and just slowly flood that thing with pure water, and it was done.
So is it like over the brush type spray, or is it it is
like a rinse bar.
That's what I was looking for.
Rinse bar over.
So rinse bar, and then you can change whatever abrasive you have on there.
Walnut pads, steel wool, bronze wool. So I got all excited, like, hey, this let's make some money, let's build these. And I built a bunch and had some parts manufactured, and they didn't my thing is, it's got to hold up.
Yeah.
It's got to hold up. I don't want somebody dropping it and saying, wanting their money back or whatever. And so I wasn't happy with the way with some of the parts. And so I just kind of, I've got boxes of stuff everywhere. I'll give my friends whatever they want. Now I'm making money with it. I'm doing these, and that one big building turned in. Now we do a lot of mid-rise buildings. We can get them done effectively using water fit, 3 and 4 stories. In it was over a year ago. I don't even remember. I think I messaged Ray with Aerial Pro. I'm like, hey, how much would it cost to make me some bronze wool, at such and such size? I want some special bronze wool pads. And I'm working, this is what I've been doing. And he's like, well, I'm wanting to work on doing something similar to that. And I'm like, well, this is what I've got. And he's working on the other parts, kind of like he's got the rinse bar down pat. He needs to run with this rinse bar, because from the looks of it, I don't want to bash any other brands, but there's some of them I've broke a bunch of them. I'm hard on stuff, but his looks at it's hard to break. And so he's got the rinse bar, he's got the bronze wool, he's got systems in place, and I showed him what I got, and anyway, we've been working together for, it was a year last spring, so it was right in the middle of COVID and all that good stuff. But I'm at the lake with the boys and talking on the phone with him for like 2 hours. We're swimming. we went up to Lake Ten Killer, and there's um, the original general store from where the red fern grows is
Oh, no
still
kidding.
up there, and it's a restaurant. So
Nice.
we're up there on vacation, just me and the boys. And I was on the phone with Ray, and I'm like, I need to get off the phone, but this is things are happening. This is good. So he is as good as gold. Um, just trusted him, sent him everything. And I had some issues with getting material, but that's all. Everything's worked out, man. And but the thing that sets it sets it apart is I've used it on residential, which works great. The smaller one works, 10-inch works great on residential. But my experience, and I don't have any issue saying I've got experience with this, is that a wider uh, pad surface with a swivel, and that's the thing that sets it apart, is we have an up and down swivel that pad holder stays
Flat.
flat against the glass.
That's important. Yeah.
And so if I'm at 60 feet, with bronze wool and it's wider, so my theory, which has been proven, is something bigger is going to be. I want to have control.
Yes.
You've got whatever brand brush up there. That thing it's walking on you, and
Yep. I
you're
feel
all
the
over.
same way. Yep.
It's painful.
Yeah.
By the time you're done, it's painful. But with a wider surface area, and you're covering more area, get more aggressive, abrasive pads, whether it be blue or bronze or whatever you're using, and then just flooding that thing with pure water. Well, by the time you get down to the bottom, I mean, it's amazing. But it's been proven, and that swivel, beforehand, I do like half of the fourth floor, and then have to bring it down and adjust. Like, now which way do I adjust this? And then
you're doing like this little mental math, trying to figure out what's the right
I need
angle.
to do 2 clicks this way. And actually, I got where I took marker pen and marked my adjustment. That way, I know when I. And so there's a lot to got to bring that pole down and adjust it, and do the next section.
Yep.
And, well, not anymore.
No more. Nice.
And then you've got the wider surface, and they're just a great looking rinse bar, and using bronze wool. I mean, on yearly big commercial cleans, and the proof's in the pudding. I mean, we can do that building in 4 days if we wanted to, but we kind of milk it because they got a good lunch cafeteria.
And what's the name of the product going to be from Area Pro?
Aero Pro, Ray's calling it the Battle Cat, which makes me think of He-Man, which I grew up watching He-Man, bronze wool is tiger's wool, and going with that theme, because I'm just throwing it out there. I think the tagline should be, "It's the cat's meow."
It's the cat's meow. I'm sure Ray will go with it. He's pretty easy going with stuff like that.
He's great. He's been really patient with me. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I've seen kind of pictures of it. I'm anxious to try it and do it in action. But that exactly what you're talking about. That's always my beef with when we're doing the high stuff. When we're doing 3 or 4 story. Is that, oh man, okay, now I'm going different. I got to bring it all the way down.
Oh man.
Either by laying it down, or, telescoping it short, and then you got to adjust it, pull it up, and then you get there, you're like, oh, I didn't do it right. I got to bring it back down, and it's just such a pain. So to have a swivel like that, I think that's going to save a ton of time.
It's just, and it's simple, but it's sturdy. I mean, it's all stainless, parts, and it's just, I think it's close to indestructible. I mean, once you have one, the only thing you're going to need is pads from Aero. I don't know how you could break it unless you run it over. And running it over,
I don't run it over, and I'll test it out. I'll let you know.
but and that with the bronze, that I've become a huge fan of the bronze here. I've always been a cheap steel wool, from Walmart and
Oh,
throw
me
it
too.
away.
Yeah.
But now I've got a few bronze wool pads, and like, man, I like this bronze.
Yeah. Well, you know what I
goes a
started
long
doing?
ways.
Buying the rolls. And what's nice is because I've got the handles for the 3M, the doodle bugs.
Right, doodle
You
bug.
can just roll the steel wool on there if you got a real bad job, and I just use the steel wool on that, or sometimes I'll put two or three pads in a row, but the roll is nice. But like you said, if you've got the bronze wool, bronze wool made specifically for that, it's going to just lay there perfectly, and
The way
be able to
Ray's
get those
done that
corners.
is you can, because your ends wear out.
Hmm.
And I like it where it overlaps just a little bit to where, it gets right on that seal. And so it gets your corners. And I've seen it. I've used it. I've checked.
Hmm.
Actually, I'm using, I've got a 5-story tomorrow. I'm doing a couple offices just to, they remodeled it. And anyway, they got some offices open. They want me just to come do 4 windows.
Sure,
And
sure.
I've got a good, anyway, then we come back in October and we do the whole building. But so I'll be using it tomorrow. But it hits your corners, hits your edges. And everybody's got their own way they do it, but just flooding that thing with pure water and using the bronze. Nothing against. There's a tool for everything.
Yeah.
And no tool is the do all tool.
Right.
But I was thinking, why do I have a brush and then turn the water off and then flip it over to
Yep.
use the bronze pad?
Yep.
And
That's
then
what I did. I did for a long time.
and
Yep.
flip. Like, why do I have to do all these steps?
And granted that, like with the flip, the zero bronze holder, that was revolutionary when it happened, because we didn't have that before. We had, like you said, you had the boar's hair, which was a little more aggressive, but then you had the nylon, or you had the hybrid, and they were fine. But once you got to be able to scrub, that was a game changer. So now all we're doing is just kind of the next natural evolution of that, is where now all the scrubbing is the aggressive that you need. And for some buildings, that's what you have to have that. Like you said, you're that high and it hasn't been cleaned in a year, you got to have some scrub on that. So why waste time? Let's get right to it. Don't waste any more time on
it. Cut our time on those builds. We have another, it's not as big, but we had 3 of us working on it, but it's a 5-story we did in a day and a half. And I was amazed that I couldn't believe we got it. I had 3 days scheduled for it. We're done in a day and a half. And
nice.
And that building had not been cleaned in I don't know how long, but bronze wool, because you got to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So,
I'm excited to see the product. I'm excited for you. I'm wishing that it's a real success, and you get to see some of the fruits from all your labor the last couple of years, and all the experimenting and trial, and I hope it works out. It's great.
I just give stuff like, here, I made this, you can have this. And I sent stuff to California, to Canada, just my buddies, awesome. Like, here you go, here, try this thing out, don't drop it, it'll break. But now, that was kind of the
earlier
prototype.
Models, right? Yeah,
the early model. My buddy Ewing, he said, man, I got the original battle.
Put it in a frame there, or some like those little model boxes, so you could save it for the future, for when you're in the Window Clean Hall of Fame for designing the Battle Cat.
We'll see what happens with it.
Yeah,
I can't wait to I want to get some feedback from
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm anxious to try it. I'll definitely give some feedback, but the concept sounds awesome. Sounds really good. So excited for it. Well, we are out of time, Mike, so we're gonna close up shop, but I really appreciate you taking this evening to talk with us and share all your experience, and again, we're really excited to try the new product, so we'll let you know. But thanks. Yeah, and tell your family thanks too for sitting in there and being a silent audience. We appreciate it. But we look forward to seeing more of your work. Thank you, and thank you, Flowmies, for listening. We hope you guys have a great weekend. You guys take care and flow on.